Have you heard the phrase, "If these walls could talk"? It's something people commonly say. Of course, walls can't really tell you what they've seen, but sometimes they hide things behind them that could reveal to you what secrets a house is hiding. From witch bottles to gorgeous works of art, here are the strange things discovered behind the owner's walls. Number 1. In 2019, a construction team stumbled upon an unexpected find while demolishing the chimney of an old inn. A bottle filled with the most unimaginable things: human teeth, glass shards, and an unidentified liquid that surely no one dared to touch. You might think this bottle is just someone's sick joke, but this horrible concoction is common across the European continent, with several finds in old buildings, cemeteries, and river banks. But what exactly are they, and what is their purpose? Well, these are called witch bottles. As their name suggests, these objects have their roots in the world of folklore and protective magic. They were generally made of ceramic or glass and were believed to protect against malevolent witchcraft. Between the 16th and 17th centuries, most of Europe was dominated by fear of witches and the supernatural. Along with the spread of what people believed to be dark magic, the popularity of witch bottles increased. Fearing that they would soon fall victim to witches, many used empty bottles and all kinds of charms, including human hair, urine, nail clippings, thorns, and other sharp objects. As sinister as these objects may seem, the witch bottle is nothing more than a protective talisman intended to repel or trap malicious spells and negative energy. The belief was that by placing these objects inside the bottle and burying it near the entrance of your home, or in fireplaces and chimneys, you would capture evil spirits, attracting them to the bottle and neutralizing their power. But today, witch bottles are nothing more than remnants left from a time when Europe was dominated by immense fear. So, if you live in Europe and suddenly discover this in your house, then you should know that its former owner probably just wanted to protect the house from evil spirits. Number 2. Here's another strange discovery involving human teeth, this time in Valdosta, Georgia. While renovating a building, a team of construction workers made a surprising find: nearly 1,000 human teeth. The teeth were found behind a wall on the second floor of the building, and workers were understandably unprepared for what they found. Authorities and workers were puzzled as to how these teeth ended up behind the building's walls. Is this just a collection of a madman? Not quite. After researching the history of the place, it was discovered that the room had been used as a dental office for almost 100 years, beginning with Dr. Clarence Whittington, a dentist who started his practice in 1900. The most curious thing is that when renovating other buildings, several teeth were also found nearby in its walls. It seemed that storing teeth on office walls was a common practice at that time. Today, when a tooth is extracted, it is considered medical waste and a specialized system is responsible for its safe disposal. But perhaps back then there were no regulated medical waste systems like there are today, and dentists had no choice but to dispose of extracted teeth by placing them in walls. It's a surprise to modern renovators or historians to find this unexpected dental collection, but authorities in Valdosta decided to go along with it, and even challenged locals to guess how many teeth they found in exchange for $100. Number 3. Earlier this year, a Californian exterminator stumbled upon an unexpected treasure. This was not a precious artifact, but 700 pounds of acorns laboriously collected by a hard-working woodpecker. The problem is that this food warehouse was located within the walls of a house in California. The discovered acorns were stacked for about 20 feet, from the ground to the attic of the house, and you can only imagine how many acorns the woodpecker had collected. Unfortunately for the poor bird, the stash he had built up for months is now back to zero, as the exterminators collected the acorns and threw them away. If it weren't for the little worms crawling out of the walls of their home, the couple who lived there wouldn't have known the acorns were there in the first place. Creatures like woodpeckers, squirrels, mice, and other small animals in nature often prepare for the future, especially for the harsh winter season. This particular woodpecker drilled into the wood hoping to create a safe hiding place, but unfortunately chose the wrong spot. However, exterminators confirmed that the animal was safe. The bird needed to start looking for food again for the winter and, hopefully, found a better place to hide. Number 4. In 2016, a maintenance team from the University of Cambridge discovered a 300-year-old shoe at St. John's College. This historical artifact, dating from approximately the late 17th or early 18th century, was found hidden inside a wall. It is believed to be an example of Apotropaic magic, a practice designed to attract good luck and ward off evil. Despite its age, the shoe was surprisingly well preserved and was sized equivalent to a modern men's size 6 shoe. The specific location where the shoe was found had particular significance. It was located between the fireplace and the window, a site traditionally considered to protect residents and keep evil spirits away. Although not widely documented, these beliefs in ritual magic were common in Europe between the 16th and 19th centuries. In addition to shoes, other objects, such as dead cats, horse skulls, and witch bottles filled with hair and urine, were used for similar protective purposes. Number 5. A homeowner named Jonathan Lewis made a disturbing discovery in his new house while renovating it. He found a creepy doll hidden inside a wall. The doll, named Emily, had a note claiming that she had stabbed the previous owners in 1961. The discovery, which could easily be the plot of a ghost story, has attracted significant attention. The letter simply said, "My name is Emily. My original owners lived in this house in 1961. I didn't like them, so they had to leave. All they did was sing and be happy. It was disgusting. I chose to stab them. I hope you have knives." The doll was hidden behind a boarded-up wall, and its presence was completely unexpected. Despite the grisly nature of this find, Lewis seemed to take it in stride. It appears that the doll is not genuine from the 1960s and was simply placed as a joke. However, his friends were alarmed and urged him to sell the house and move. Number 6. In another discovery straight out of a horror movie, a construction worker found a centuries-old ouija board hidden inside a heating duct. This unexpected discovery occurred during renovation work in an old house where the ouija board, which was upside down, was used to block airflow in the duct. The discovery of this board, associated with contacting the dead, was enough to scare the workers. They wondered if it was deliberately placed by a previous occupant to hide it. The story captured the imagination of many, speculating about the origin of the board and the reason for its secret hiding. Ouija boards, often linked to the supernatural, have a history of being used to communicate with spirits. Finding one hidden in a structure can provoke a range of emotions, from curiosity to discomfort. This particular board, which spent decades hidden behind the wall, serves as a reminder of the mysterious and disturbing stories that ancient buildings can hold without their current occupants knowing. Number 7. When renovating an old structure, such as an old coffee shop, one would expect to find old wallpaper, debris, or trash when tearing down the walls. However, workers renovating the Clifton cafeteria in Los Angeles discovered something different. It wasn't something sinister or terrifying, but it still surprised the owners. It turned out that behind one of the walls of the cafeteria was a neon light that had been on for an astonishing 70 years. Yes, you heard right, 70 years. Clifton's is a piece of Los Angeles history, founded by Clifford Clinton. Its only remaining branch, Clifton's Brookdale, is known for its unique interior, complete with fake trees and neon parrots. Perhaps it was appropriate that there was a neon light hidden behind its walls. It was originally installed around 1935, and after 10 years it was hidden during a renovation. Perhaps the responsibility for this undetected light lies with those who were in charge of the constructions. It was impossible to detect the light until 2010 when the cafeteria was renovated again. Surprisingly, this decades-old neon light probably contributed a staggering $117,000 to the electric bill. Interestingly, experts consider this neon light to be the oldest and continuously lit neon light in the world. Although LED lights are more common and efficient today, it is interesting to discover these ancient lightings. However, let's remember that neon lights became obsolete for reasons. They can be harmful to the environment and humans. LED lights, on the other hand, have greater durability and are a more efficient investment. Before continuing, like this video, subscribe and turn on notifications right now. Number 8. During a renovation at his home in Newcastle on the New South Wales North Coast, Matt Streetfield made a nostalgic discovery. He found a message from the past hidden within the walls of his house. A glass milk bottle almost half a century old that contained a letter dated April 5, 1974. The letter, written by the plasterers who originally built the walls, offered an insight into life in Australia during that period. Streetfield, intrigued by this unexpected find, managed to track down one of the note's original authors, a 66-year-old man named Ron Midry. The letter detailed the everyday realities of the time, including the plasterers' wait for their weekly salary of $106 from Newcastle Interior Linings, a company that is still in operation today. Number 9. The Bretzius family was hoping for a smooth home renovation in Cook County, Auburn, Pennsylvania, but the simple construction took an unexpected turn when they discovered their home was insulated with dozens of dead animal carrion. These remains were ominously wrapped in old newspapers and accompanied by half-used spices. The strange thing is that they were hidden inside the walls. This peculiar discovery in their seemingly normal home raised many questions. Uniquely preserved animal carrion suggested forgotten practices or hidden histories deeply embedded in the structure of the house. The inclusion of spices, often used for preservation or in rituals, makes the discovery more chilling. The presence of spices generally associated with conservation practices or rituals fueled theories that the house could have been inhabited by someone who practiced rituals in the past. This revelation, intertwined with the history and folklore of Cook County, invites speculation and wonder about the past lives and stories that have unfolded within these walls. Number 10. If you like horror stories and literary classics, you probably know Dracula by Bram Stoker, the novel that popularized the figure of the vampire. In 2020, a discovery related to that famous story captured the international attention of mystery lovers. A mummified cat was discovered behind the walls of a house in Bistritza, a Transylvanian town mentioned in Stoker's novel. This house, built in 1921, housed a mummified cat that was found by brothers Valentine and Adrian, Berlin-based artists. Initially, they thought it was a miniature sculpture of a tiger, but later realized it was the mummified remains of a cat. Although for many it may seem creepy, for fans of the macabre and Dracula, this discovery was fascinating. The mummified cat was expected to fetch up to $1,500. Interestingly, this was not the first discovery of a mummified cat in a wall. In 2009, another was found in a house in Devon. In some European cultures, it was traditional to place the desiccated body of a cat within the walls of a new building as protection against evil spirits, or as a good luck talisman. Although this tradition might not appeal to cat lovers like me, it is an interesting testament to ancient customs and beliefs that have been recorded in history. Number 11. An extraordinary discovery was made by a local man who simply wanted to renovate his basement. What he found behind him was nothing short of astonishing: an entrance to a vast underground city stretching up to 18 stories deep and capable of housing up to 20,000 people. This underground complex is now known as the Dracula Underground City and, since its discovery, has been hailed as the largest community underground. Dracula is situated in the historic region of Cappadocia in central Turkey, known for its unique geological formations such as fairy chimneys and soft rock called tuff. Thanks to this rock, local inhabitants have created underground homes, warehouses, and temples for millennia. Dracula is the largest underground complex, with approximately 40 structures of at least 2 levels. Its exact origin remains a mystery, but it is believed to have been excavated by the Hittites around 2000 BC, or by the Phrygians in 700 BC. Additionally, it is thought that local Christians expanded the city in later centuries. Designed for defense, it features massive stone gates and defensive features. Between the 6th and 10th centuries AD, elements with Christian influence were added, indicating its use as a safe haven for Christians. The city had residential areas, storage, a dungeon, and spaces such as wine presses and small churches, including a cruciform one. Ventilated by more than 15,000 wells, it offered stable and moderate conditions, being a refuge from extreme weather and ideal for storing food. Number 12. The discovery of a 6-year-old boy perplexed many in the United States. That's right, authorities found a boy hiding behind a false wall in his own maternal grandmother's house. Since 2007, this child was hidden by his grandmother and mother to prevent his father from seeing him. The boy and his mother disappeared in November 2007 after an intense custody battle between the parents. Since then, the father had not seen his son again. An extensive search led authorities to the home of the boy's grandmother. Upon entering, they discovered a false wall where, surprisingly, they found the little boy. If it were not for police intervention, the boy and his father would not have had the opportunity to reunite. Despite the strange circumstances, the boy was found with no apparent harm, at least physically. It is difficult to imagine what this little boy thought after living for 2 years in such a peculiar and atypical environment. Ultimately, the boy's mother faced charges of felony child abduction, while the grandmother was considered an accessory and charged with aiding and abetting. Fortunately, police reported that, despite having spent most of the last 2 years in hiding, the boy was cheerful, friendly, and polite. Number 13. In 2015, a couple from Jasper, Indiana, made an unexpected discovery. While planning renovations for a new bathroom and hiring a contractor to fix the wiring, Phil Matthew stumbled upon a hidden treasure in his attic: love letters from World War I. These letters, dated July 1918, were written by a World War I soldier named Clemens Berger to his beloved, Mary Burrow. Clemens, who was in service and training at West Point, Kentucky, expressed in his letters his fears about being sent to the front and the possibility of never seeing his or Mary's home again. Upon reading the letters, Phil and his wife felt the desire to return them to their rightful owners and discover what had happened to the lovers. With the help of the internet and others, they managed to contact Mary Munn and Nancy Tadar, nieces of Clemens and Mary. These nieces were excited and grateful for the discovery and preservation of this emotional family memory. They revealed that, indeed, Clemens and Mary had a happy ending. They married a year after the end of the First World War, in June 1919. Without a doubt, a strange but moving discovery.